Hi everybody, I'm Alistair Ben and you're watching Expressive Photography. Thanks very much for tuning in again. Thank you so much for everyone who sent a YouTube link to a song to accompany last week's video. I've made a playlist on Spotify and the link below will take you to that playlist and you can listen to the variety of music that people have submitted. In this week's video, I want to talk more about the relationship that we have with music versus the relationship we have with our photography. We all have incredible musical preferences. We have seen that from the huge variety of songs that were posted to the last video that we put out here. Now, that a lot of these songs, you have a soundtrack to your life. This is something I've always felt really, really strongly about is you can hear a piece of music that takes you back to when you were 12 or 13 or 15, to the first bands you really fell in love with, the ones you used to lock yourself in the bedroom and listen to endlessly with a pair of cheap headphones or on a cheap tape deck. This is back in the day before streaming and all of that nonsense. You used to borrow a tape off a friend. Now, we have such incredible memories of music, and our choice in music is a very personal thing. We really identify with it, and it's something that I think it's probably one of the strongest relationships we have with an art form is with the music that we like. Now, if you think about your photography, you have a very different relationship with your photography because you rely on other people most of the time to tell you if it's any good or not. There's very, very, very few photographers, even amongst really, really successful pro photographers, who are 100% confident with their own photography. I've spoken to Alex Noriega, TJ Thorne, Bill Neal, Theo Bosboom, myself very much so, who we appreciate when people say we make nice photographs, but we still feel that compared to other photographers, that there's other folk out there making better photographs or more meaningful photographs. Now, I'm fighting that thought. I'm fighting this thought that, there's lots of other people making more meaningful photography, and I make videos and write books about making meaningful photography. So if I have it, then I'm sure everyone else has it too. Now, this playlist is going to be an interesting one, and if anyone wants to go and check it out, that's great. I mean, there's a whole bunch of songs on there, but what I really want to talk about today, and if I just go back into Lightroom here, I've thrown together a very, very random selection of, some of them are raw files, some of them are Word files. It's just a random selection that covers many, many different types and styles of my own photography, from deserts to intimate landscapes, to big landscapes, to Scottish forests, to fall colour, to moody abstracts. There's a very big spectrum of photographs in this collection. Some of them are newer, some of them are older, but most of them are taken probably about the last 4 or 5 years. Now, the reason I've chosen to show a selection of images here, and I think the best thing we can do is just start slide showing some of these images so you can get a feel for the variety that I'm talking about. These images are the pictorial equivalent of the soundtrack of my life. Each one of those is a moment in time that I was engaged with the landscape, was focused on the landscape, was either totally fascinated with the thing that I was observing, or I was totally fascinated by how that thing was making me feel. That is a complete experience, and every single photograph, whether it's popular, unpopular, loved, hated, perfect or imperfect, every single one of them is a snapshot of my life when I was zoned in. And that is an important thing. And this is what this week's video is about, is every time you push the shutter is an opportunity for you to have the soundtrack of your life. It's a meaningful moment to you, just the same as the first time I heard 2112 by Rush when I was a kid. And I remember the day listening to the tape in the packed lunchroom by another kid at school. He said, "Oh man, I've just heard this, listen to this." And being introduced to that at a very, very young age was just like, whoa. And I remember it. And if I click on any of these photographs, I can click on this one and I remember it. I remember the moment. I remember just thinking, oh, that's really fascinating and really cool. And it's beauty out of destruction. A cut tree, you know, it's the death of a tree, but it's left a mark. It's left a mark on me and it's left a mark on the world. Its life is continuing in my protection of forests, my love for nature, my care for the environment. These things are metaphors that go very, very deep. So what I want you to do really is look into your own Lightroom collections, go into your own collections of photographs and remember the highlights, remember the moments. And they may not be your favorite photographs or your best photographs, but funnily enough, the more meaningful ones, when you were sad or unhappy or you were going out and you're frustrated, but you managed to find something that wasn't what you went out to photograph, but was instead just something that you stumbled across. Those little photographs, find them, appreciate them, and realize that they still represent something. They might not get you 100,000 followers on Instagram and 10,000 likes every time you post one, but the moment that you had engaging, feeling, expressing, articulating, living to your highest level of awareness, because that's what these photographs represent, is really living. These images represent something that's more important than popularity, although we focus on it all the time. So I want to continue this concept that you know musical preferences when you hear it. You know the joy of listening to a melody or listening to a harmony or hearing a song that you haven't heard in 20 years and instantly you're just back in that moment. You know how to do that without thinking. You know how to appreciate music without thinking. And our photographs are our creativity. They're our life in pixels. So surely you should appreciate those because they are your moments of your life. My Lightroom catalogue is the pictorial representation of my life. Even though I'm not in any of them, I'm in all of them because I was the one who saw, experienced, engaged, got interested and passionate and had something to feel and say. So really at the end of the day, photographs are the soundtrack of your life, and I would really love it if you get on board with that concept because it's just going to make you so much happier when you realize that all of your photographs have meaning. Thanks very much, as always, for watching the channel. I really appreciate it. Dig into the subscribe button and the bell notification. As I said, we're not posting so often now, so if you want to make sure you're notified of our content, the bell notification is your best friend in this one. Please click on the link below also and go to our store and consider buying one of our ebooks or video series, either of which I think are going to deliver some huge value to you, as hundreds and thousands of people who have done so before you will attest. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. And I hope the soundtrack of your life and the pictorial representation of your life is as satisfying for you as mine is for me, regardless of what anybody else thinks. Thanks for watching. Have a great time, everyone. Bye for now. Bye-bye.